You're listening to Nac Chat with Amy Mahaffey, straight from the city of Nacogdoches, where we chat all things Nac. We make any topic fun, and I'll take you behind the scenes of the oldest town in Texas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our newest episode of Nac Chat. I'm super excited to have Keith. Hi, Keith.
Hello, Amy.
I already yelled at you about having fun on our podcast today. Are you having fun yet?
Yes, Amy. You yelled at me and told me not to have fun on the podcast today.
No, I said have fun. We're going to have fun today.
You told me I'm not allowed to have fun. I'm at work.
And you're griping about my chairs.
So work can be fun?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these chairs are swallowing me. They're amazing.
Look, you want to hear the story about the chairs?
I do want to hear the story about the chairs.
I'm going to tell you, and then we can jump into city stuff. But I had really rickety old wooden chairs in my office, and people would come in and they would squeak and rattle, and like they were falling apart.
I know I got a splinter one time, but we'll talk about that later.
So I got these hand-me-down chairs from Nedco, and I'm super proud of them because they're at least the same color and they're cushioned.
I feel a little bit like Jonah in the belly of the fish because it swallows you in. It's really nice.
Okay, well, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you.
You said you didn't think you'd come back?
Well, I didn't think I'd be invited back. You know, it's been several months since I was here with you and Larissa, and I had such a good time. I was really sad when my phone didn't ring, and you never call. You never. Oh.
When you were here,
we did play a game. Mm-hmm. I think I won.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know the answers to the question.
Well, that's okay though.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing.
I learned about SFA.
Now you know a lot of things you didn't know before.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's part of why I did invite you back today, is because I think it's funny when I always say you're my favorite fire chief.
Because I'm your only fire chief.
Right, I've never had another fire chief. I tell my mother-in-law that I'm her favorite daughter-in-law because I'm the only daughter-in-law. Right,
you know, it's funny, my in-laws, I'm the only son-in-law they've ever had, and I'm not their favorite, so I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah,
no.
That sucks for you, but...
Like, couldn't my daughter have done better, I think is what they say.
Well, I'm the favorite daughter-in-law, so there. And you're my favorite fire chief for the same reason, because I don't have a point of reference.
Well, that's great. That's awesome.
But I do think it's funny because I've almost been here 3 years in July.
Wow. Yay.
Think about that for a minute because it feels like 100.
No, it feels like it was just yesterday.
You think?
Yes.
Why?
But
you do?
Yeah, you haven't been here long at all.
I know, but I feel like I've been here, I feel like a part of the family.
I think you are. You're part of the institution now.
Okay. But... it feels like a long time. Not in a bad way, like, oh, time slowed down when I started working for the city. I don't mean it like that.
Well, I noticed it's like the third time you've painted your office.
No, I've only painted my office once. This is it. It's a work in progress.
Oh, you still haven't taken down the blue tape.
Right. I can't reach some of it. And, it's a long story.
Okay. Well, it's a really nice Tiffany blue color.
Thanks. So, I always used to say, and I still laugh about this, that when I first got here, almost 3 years ago, that...
Wow.
I know.
Who would have thought?
I know. That I thought it was weird because you would come talk to me about city stuff, and I would go, aren't you the fire guy? This is weird. Why do you know this? So I want you to explain to me why you know, because I know the answer, but I want everybody at home to know that, like, you're more than just the fire guy.
So I spend a lot of time on Wikipedia. Can I advertise for a website like that?
No, you could say Wikipedia, but that's not why.
I don't know. So I think all of us at the City of Nacogdoches, I think all of us that work here do lots of things, and we're involved in lots of things, and trying to make life just a little bit better every day for the people that live here, the people that visit here, and the people that are thinking about coming here. And so we all do lots of things, and we all have, I think, a much wider knowledge base than what it would be required just to do a simple job, or what I do every day, being the fire chief. So,
well, talk to me about where you were before you got to Nacogdoches.
Well, so immediately before I was in Nacogdoches, I was at the City of Dickinson in Galveston County, and I had a really long title. In fact, it was so long that I didn't put it on my business cards. And so it just had my name. And people would say, well, I see your name on your business card. What is it you do for the city? And my response was always, what is it you need? And if today I've carried that along with me, and if somebody, one of my neighbors, comes up and tells me about a pothole, I don't tell them how to report it to the city. I make sure that the pothole gets reported.
Right.
And so whatever it is that's within the bailiwick of the city, or within the stuff that we do as a city government.
What's a bailiwick?
I don't know, but it's a really great word. And so if you'll pull up Wikipedia on your computer, you probably can.
Okay, I'll Google it.
You're the one with the PhD. You should know this.
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
So in any case, I think that's how government is supposed to work.
Okay.
It's not how government usually does work. And so I really take that seriously. So I tell a story. Can I tell a story? Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I like to tell a story. When I moved to my last job in Dickinson, I got a condominium or an apartment in League City. And my wife gave me one job to do when I got there, because I beat her there, and she said, I want the Home and Garden channel. And I don't really watch the Home and Garden channel, don't really care about the Home and Garden channel, but I had a simple job: make sure that your apartment has the Home and Garden channel. And so I went to the cable company, and I waited in line and waited in line and waited in line, and I finally got to the window. And I went through the process, and I scheduled an appointment, and I paid my money, and I was assured by the person at the window that I was going to get the Home and Garden channel. And so I waited for the hours between 10 o'clock in the morning and midnight or whatever that they said somebody might come, and nobody came. And so they scheduled it for another day, and then finally the guy came, and I didn't pay any attention. And on Friday my wife came to the new apartment, and she's flipping through the channels and said, I thought you were going to get the Home and Garden channel, and we didn't have it. And so I recognized that was kind of a customer service problem. Mm-hmm. And I recognized that was not a good thing, and I was a little bit aggravated. But with cable TV, I had some other options, right? I could put the old rabbit ears with the aluminum foil on them and get the broadcast television, or I could put a dish thing, or now it's even better. You can get a online whatever streaming service. But back then I was really without a lot of options. Well, I started thinking about it in local government. It's the same way, right? You buy a $150,000 home in a community, and if you don't like the fire department, or they don't provide good customer service when you call 911, you can't exactly sell your house and move. It's not like you can go out and get the streaming fire department.
Right.
You got the one you got.
There's no Sling.
There's no
TV.
I don't really know what Sling is, but
I'll teach you.
Okay, so you're going to teach me. That's great. So there's not a Netflix for fire departments, so you can't go out there. You don't have any options. And so because of that, it's really important that we provide the best service we can at the lowest possible price.
Okay.
And that we treat our internal and external customers really well. The external customers being the citizens, the people that live down the street from me, and that live in all of our neighborhoods, and the internal customers being our staff, the firefighters that actually do the work, that get on the big red trucks. And the best way that I know that I can provide high level of service to internal and external customers, the neighbors and the firefighters, is to have a wide breadth of knowledge, to know what's going on at the city, and to be as helpful as I possibly can. Does that answer the question? It was kind of long.
But you also told a story, so it's okay.
Oh, good. I love stories.
Yeah. So, bailiwick, I looked it up on Wikipedia.
You can't trust the internet.
It's an area of jurisdiction. It applies to territories in which privately appointed bailiffs exercise the sheriff's function under a royal or imperial right. In services and administrative uses, they use it it's very complex.
I listen to some podcasts that are just like this. It's really boring. We can't really read Wikipedia.
No, I just thought I needed to know what it meant, because I care about what words mean. Sorry.
Because people judge you by the words you use.
Well, I just thought you made it up. I didn't think it was a real word.
No, I don't know. I don't always know what they mean, but I use a lot of really big words.
So now you know. I feel like that was important. So that's just a sidebar.
I think it's fantastic.
We can have a sidebar.
Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
Okay. So I'm going to further the question a little bit, because you were like 20,000 feet. I want to know, like, some of the things that I've made fun of you. Not made fun of you. I do make fun of you, but I've mentioned to you that I thought it was weird that you knew, because I just thought you fought fires, right? Like, you have a cool badge, and I was like, okay, cool. You fought fires, and you kind of explained why you know lots of stuff, but you are, I would, maybe I'm wrong, but I would venture a guess that you are very passionate about development and the process of development and how the city provides that
service, if you will, to people who are trying to open businesses.
Absolutely, because the way that we succeed as a community, not just the city, but as a community, the way we succeed is by continually evolving and growing and expanding residential and commercial uses around town, and providing places for people to live and shop and work and eat. Those are all really important things, and for us to survive as a city, by the city I mean the city organization, the corporation that is the city of Nacogdoches, we need a thriving environment for the city to provide services to. For us to survive as a community, and for us to do well as a community, the people that live in my neighborhood and the other neighborhoods in town, we need places to shop and places to eat and places to go to work, and we need places to go do fun things, and that's really, really important.
So what is the biggest misconception about the city's role in terms of doing that you hear?
The biggest misconception? Oh, I hear all the time that the city wouldn't let them come.
I know.
I hear that all the time, and it absolutely blows me away. And I think that's without question the number one misconception in our community.
Yeah. I heard that so-and-so was going to come here, and the city told him no.
If you said the mean fire chief made them put in an exit door, I would say you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And if you told me that the city wouldn't let them come, I would tell you you're absolutely wrong. I have been blessed to be on the inside of all of those things at some point, and absolutely we have an open door for business. We are welcoming, and yes, there are rules you have to follow. And there are things that you have to do and hoops you have to jump through, honestly, to build a business, whether you're inside the city or out.
And why is that?
And it's mainly because of public safety,
yes,
public health, and the well-being of the community. And the welfare of our community depends on a lot of things that go beyond public health and safety. There are certain businesses that should not be next door to a school or a church. It just doesn't fit. And so it's the city's role to make sure that we protect those land uses and that we protect the value of the property owners that are already in place. And that's what we do. And so yes, there are some things you have to do to make it work in the city, but absolutely the city won't let them come. That's not real.
Right. So you know all about land use and the reason why things are placed the way they are, also known as zoning and all that fun stuff, because of your old job, because you were heavily involved in that previously, yes? Yes,
in my last job I had fire and EMS, but I also did community development. I was the economic development coordinator, and had responsibility for through the 6.5 or 7 years I was at the city of Dickinson. Spent some time as the interim finance director, the interim city manager, the interim public works director. I had the library, so I had an opportunity to have impact or input on all the city departments as department heads left and as the city transitioned and grew. I had temporary assignments doing lots of those things, and so I was a city secretary twice. That was great, and I kept doing my regular job, but did those as well. And so I did have an opportunity to do lots of those things. And so we wrote the first comprehensive land use plan and zoning ordinance in Dickinson. And so I was in the middle of that. I was in charge of that function in the city, and so I did have the opportunity to really look at that. And much like Nacogdoches, Dickinson was a relatively old community, but our land use planning was relatively new. And so we had lots of things in Dickinson that were 60, 70, 80 years old, and neighborhoods that were 60, 70, 80 years old. And we had to overlay land use on top of them that made sense to those communities, not just made sense for those communities, made sense to those communities. So involving the public, making sure the people that lived in Dickinson were involved in that process. And that's something we do really well here, is that the process is very, very open at the city of Nacogdoches. And too often people don't come and voice their opinion, but the process is very open, and that opportunity is always there. There are great challenges in a 300-year-old town.
Yeah.
When you have a 300-year-old town with 300-year-old things, there are some real challenges with modern growth and development, and we see those around the community as you see places where parking lots are a little jammed because it just doesn't quite fit. And a lot of times it's just doing the best that we can, and the developers are doing the best that they can. And sometimes nobody knew that the gas station at Kroger was going to be such a booming success. Nobody would have ever imagined. But you've tried to drive into Kroger at 5 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, and good luck.
It's like cowboys out there.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's like when we had John Wayne here back in
I say
1850.
prayers.
Yeah.
I do. I say prayers when I'm there. When I'm in the parking lot. I mean, other times too, but when I'm in the parking lot, because I just need a lot of patience because I get very frustrated. But I understand why it's like that.
And we're blessed. And part of that is that they sell the gasoline and they have fantastic fresh seafood, and so we get to take advantage of that. And wow.
Heck yeah. So why Nacogdoches?
I can't think of a better place to raise my daughter.
Yeah, she's so cute.
Peanut's been in school here since kindergarten at Reggae, and then went to Mike Moses. Now she's at Nacogdoches High School, and she's a junior in high school. And when the opportunity came to come back to NAC, and I had a little kindergarten age kid, I thought my wife and I talked and prayed and prayed and talked and really looked at what was the right option for us and for our family, and this has been a great experience.
You sound like you're leaving.
Well,
where are you going?
Do you know something I don't know?
Is it a departure speech that you're giving?
Is there something? I hope there's not something you know that I don't know.
I don't know anything.
Because no, I have no
I just run a podcast, man. I don't know anything.
You just run a podcast. So if Amy knows the inside ticket that I am leaving,
no, you just said it's been a great experience.
No, it's been great. You know, we've
raising Peanut.
Raising Peanut here. You know, we've been back 11 and a half years. We've gotten to share a lot of great times, and we haven't missed very many festivals and very many events. And I don't think Peanut would have gotten that small town experience growing up in League City or growing up in the Houston area.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, a suburb of Dallas.
We know.
And okay, I'm sorry, and so I didn't get those experiences either, and I think I think it's fantastic.
But you did go to a college where you had to read a lot of books.
I did go to a college where I had to read a lot of books.
What's it called again?
It's called St. Edward's in Austin.
That's right.
Yes, a little small college in Austin.
And all the smart kids went there.
There are a lot of smart kids that go there.
Uber smart, and you read. How many books do you read a week?
They let me in. Well, now Mercedes at the library may not like this because I get a lot of them on my Kindle for free from the library.
I know, I do that too.
They have this amazing app called Bumble or
Libby.
Libby.
Yeah.
And so Libby, and I go to Libby on my phone, and it sends books to my Kindle. So now I read half my books in paper and half of them on the Kindle. And
it's a pretty legit deal, that ebook thing.
It is absolutely amazing. And we live in a small town in East Texas, and our public library, for free, all you have to do is go up there and tell them I want to sign on so that I get free books to my Kindle or my iPad. My wife's a flight attendant, and she works for Southwest Airlines and drives to Houston once a week to go fly. And she gets audiobooks on her iPhone from the Nacogdoches Public Library.
That's awesome.
For free, and she listens to an audiobook all the way to Houston and all the way back. And so for 6 hours a week, so she reads a book a week, or somebody reads a book to her once a week.
That works.
And how fantastic is that?
So how many books a week do you think you read? Do you get through a book a week?
Do I read all?
You read all the time, right?
I probably, cover to cover, I probably read 3 cover to cover and then pieces of a few others.
A week. Yeah.
Is that not normal?
No, I read like a book a week.
So I have a job that's very public, and I'm out seeing people all the time and talking to people nonstop. And so when I lock myself in my cave, I'm able to read a book and completely decompress. So it's a good thing.
Well, see, I have a tiny human, and you have a big human, and I'm growing another tiny human, and I get tired.
And 16-year-old girls don't really want to hang out with their dad all the time. And so my wife's flying, so I have the fire radio on in case something happens, and I read my books.
No, I get it. I just think it's cool. I love to read, but, now I'm reading books about tiny llamas wearing pajamas or something last night.
And I would like to say this. The cable company here got me Home and Garden Channel as soon as we moved in.
Oh, you got to backtrack on that. Okay.
Suddenlink has been fine.
Okay.
I wasn't dealing with Suddenlink before, but
you do that thing Larissa does where she has guilt after because she said something kind of negative and she's got to go back.
I just started thinking about that. I didn't want somebody to confuse my cable experience with the Suddenlink experience because it's been overwhelmingly positive. And so I don't watch the television, but my wife has her Home and Garden Channel.
And that's happy wife, happy life.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not ever going to say that.
But that's a thing.
Okay.
Now you know.
So what else do we need to talk about?
I think we're good. I'm going to have you back because you were a lot more fun this time.
I was?
Yeah, you were a little nervous last time.
I didn't really know much about podcasting.
Now you do.
Now I do. I love it.
Yep. I taught you.
You did teach me. You and Larissa
and you taught me about bailiwick.
And you know a new word.
Yes.
And you're going to use it a lot, often.
Well, thank you for being on my show.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Say bye, Keith.
Bye.
Goodbye. See, that's fun. So, guess what time it is?
Time for the rumor mill.
Yay! Are you excited to be here today?
I'm kind of tired.
I know.
I'm trying to amp it up for you guys.
Well, Keith was just here, as you know,
Mhm.
because y'all met each other in the hallway.
Yeah, we did.
And we had to teach him about Hello Kitty.
Yeah, you
and,
didn't know it was Japanese.
and other weird things.
Or is it Korean?
It's Japanese.
Okay.
And then I made him and Carly go outside because we need to do this.
Yes.
So, it's springtime in Nacogdoches. This is episode 22.
Yay.
Yay!
We've come a long
We've
way.
been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Now, our Brain Candy girls are like in the 200s.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, total goals there.
And they get paid to do, we get paid to work here, but we don't get paid like per podcast.
Yeah, they have sponsors.
They have sponsors.
If you would like to sponsor the Neck Chat podcast,
and they get to
I
do
don't even know
ads.
if we're legally allowed to do that, but we'll look into it.
Yeah,
if you would
if
like
you want
to
to
do
give us
that.
money for this, we'll give you a shout
We
out.
will
here.
talk to our city
We'll
attorney
figure
about
out a way to do it. So, it's springtime. I saw your planning. I think this will make you happy to talk about for real quick second because I wanted this podcast to be fun. I saw you're planning a new garden or like doing new landscaping at your house. That's fun.
Yeah, and the book that I was reading to do that, Greg Grant,
Huh?
is like a Nacogdoches local or East Texas local at least. He's an extension agent up north of here now, but he wrote a great landscaping book. So if you guys in East Texas are looking for landscaping tips, Greg Grant's Landscaping Texas, I think is what it's called or something.
Fun.
Yeah, so if you just Amazon search or go to one of your local bookstores, like the Boss Light, and say, I want Greg Grant's landscaping book, they could probably find it.
You know what's really weird? My Doug Welsh's Texas Garden Almanac just came in the mail.
Oh.
Just got a text that it got delivered. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
So I'm learning more because I need a hobby.
Yeah.
And spring inspired me. I'll probably be tired of it in a week, but
Yeah.
I got excited about spring.
Spring in Texas is lovely. In East Texas, it's especially lovely.
It is, even though I'm really itchy today.
Yeah, there's a lot of pollen.
Yeah.
But it's kind of worth it because it's so pretty outside.
Oh, well. But I'm pregnant and can't take good medicine, so that's my own fault.
Yeah.
All right, so we have not only rumor mills, but I have questions.
Okay.
And we're going to celebrate a little bit because we have a new business downtown.
Yes. Yes. And it's super cute. You tell me about the new downtown business.
So I have not had the pleasure of going by there yet because it's just been a really crazy week. However, we have a new Nine Flags Coffee Roasters coffee shop.
Such a great name.
I know, it was where the AA building was.
Mhm.
So, upgrade. We loved that part because, AA's a great program.
But they have upgraded the building
They've
greatly.
upgraded the building.
Yeah.
And there's this cool mural of the Texas flag on the side.
Very pretty.
And people are taking pictures. And it just adds, our whole thing is increasing that downtown footprint because downtown is more than just the brick streets. And so this is a great leap of faith for that business because we have nail salons and hair salon. We have all kinds of stuff that are just adjacent to that.
Right.
And so this really helps start to connect. Monograms on Main is just past the light on Mound, headed toward University. And so I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
So tell me what you picture when someone says downtown. Like in your ultimate dreams, what would you want that to encompass?
I want there to be thriving businesses from Lone Star Feed on Main all the way to University.
Gotcha. Like
Not even-
businesses that people like kind of walkable destinations.
Yeah, it's not that
visits.
far.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of downtowns that have big footprints like that, and they're super successful. And I've been trying. We work with the Main Street Advisory Board, and we're trying to push people to think in that way because it takes years to develop something like that.
Right.
And then I always drive down Pillar Street right here by City Hall, and there's these cute homes, and I love that they're homes, but some of them are turning into offices, and there's just like a world of possibility.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. It's
Absolutely.
kind of fun to dream.
It is fun to dream, and we've come so far. I talked about it in a meeting this morning that we are so close to being 100% occupied downtown,
Yeah.
which is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So that kind of leads us into our next question. And I know you're tired of talking about HEB because we've talked about HEB a lot.
Yeah, Amy's going to make me talk about HEB, y'all. So if y'all don't want to talk about HEB, then fast forward like 10 seconds.
Oh, we're only going to talk about it for 10 seconds.
Yeah, okay. 30 seconds.
So, this is always a question we get on social media.
Yes.
And what is the deal? And give us a Reader's Digest version because
Okay.
I know we've covered it.
So, there has been... I'm not going to give you the Reader's Digest version. I'm going to give you a full meal deal version because
So
there's
we'll
a
stop
long
asking.
story.
Okay.
Yeah, I want you all to be... messengers for this and carry this message out into your community. So HEB bought property. They bought the property on the corner of University Drive and the Loop. South section of that, like the south side of that intersection. North University Drive and the North Loop. Both sides of the street. Something that HEB does. They like to control the neighborhood around them. They like to facilitate additional retail development. So they bought that several years ago. The city of Nacogdoches, in order to encourage them to locate here and to encourage them to build a sizable development, entered into an economic development incentive agreement that I believe included property tax abatements and I believe some utility extensions, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Both are possible in economic development agreements. Since that time, let me first say, HEB moves glacially slow on developments. It's just what they do. They are very smart and methodical in the way they go procure real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so they buy property that they know they're not going to develop for years and years and years.
So they get the buzz going because it's working because we've been talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they control it
Yeah.
before another grocery store can swoop in and get it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's the first part. Then all of you people started ordering your groceries online. You did Blue Apron. You did the curbside pickup thingamajiggy that grocery stores are going to. And so there's been kind of like a deflation in the grocery market. People are paying less for groceries and going out to eat more.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're ordering food more.
Right.
Did you know you can buy milk online? It's like $80 a gallon or something insane, but you could if you really wanted to. And so HEB, like other grocery stores, has kind of slowed their developmental process down a little bit. So they still own the property. They still have an active agreement with the city, but we haven't seen any permits, and they're not just moving at a very rapid pace. I have seen them go ahead and get permits in some other cities recently. I think there was one in like Mansfield, Texas or something.
Oh, okay.
So they may call us again.
Yeah.
So HEB, we love you. Please come see us.
And the misconception, Keith and I kind of just talked about it, is that we don't. They're a private corporation.
Yeah, we don't say HEB. You're building a store.
Yeah, and so I think people think, somebody wrote one day, the Lufkin manager at the Lufkin HEB said we have to go talk to city council to get it to speed up. And I said, and that could have been a false thing. I don't know what the manager at the HEB in Lufkin says, but the message there was that it was something city council was sitting on and not handling, and that's the agreement was extended, but it's still active.
And we've done everything that the city council can do and everything that HEB has asked us to do, and we check in on them regularly and tell them that we love them and we want them here.
And their coffee's so good.
Their coffee is good and their little prepared meals are good.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not that the city told them no, and it's not that the city honestly goes and says you are building here.
Yeah.
But when they say, hey, we're interested in your city, we say, oh,
come on.
That's great.
Yeah. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for indulging me.
You're welcome.
And I'm just excited about HEB, man.
Yeah, it's a great Texas company, and they give back to the local community and the communities that they're in. So.
They do. Well, awesome. Anything else?
What else were we supposed to talk about?
I didn't have anything. Those were my big, I wanted to understand the agreements that we made,
Okay, so I'll run through that real fast. So the other thing is, and it's somewhat tied to people, when people say the city should bring X here. Well, yes, the city does recruit through NEDCO. We recruit businesses. We recruit manufacturing businesses and that type of industry, and then we recruit retail. But we don't set 100% who comes to the city and who doesn't.
Sure.
We may come recruit somebody, but we also don't prevent people from coming. And not every business that comes to town comes because we ask them to.
Yeah.
I would love to take credit for that, but no. Some businesses just come. And so sometimes businesses say, we would love to locate in your town, but the piece of property that we need to develop on has this very expensive development problem. It needs a lot of dirt work, or there's no sewer line there. Or we think we will be okay in your market, but it's going to take us 10 years to become profitable. So then the city might be able to do a small tax abatement to help their bottom line for a few years until the market improves for them. And they would do that through these economic development incentive agreements like I talked about with HEB.
Perfect. Makes sense. So we have a little bit of tools in our toolbox, but it all goes back to numbers and adding value to the community and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
When there are those agreements in place, before those agreements even begin to get negotiated, NEDCO and the city perform economic analyses of the businesses, and we look at how many people they're going to employ and how much they're paying those people and what those people are bringing to the community.
Right.
And, if there's a company, let's say we recruited a company that had 500 employees, well, that's awesome, but I don't know that we could house 500 new families here in Nacogdoches.
All at once.
And I don't know that our school districts could handle 1,000 new kids all at once. And so those are all things that come into the equation and that come into the incentive analysis. And we try very hard to make sure that the city and the county, when they offer incentives, that there is a cost-benefit ratio there, that it benefits the local economy more than it costs the city in the incentive.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Very interesting. You do fun stuff.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah. Are there any businesses that went through your new entrepreneur academy? That's probably not the right term.
No, it is.
Okay. It just rolled off my tongue then. Well, look at me go. That you want to give a shout out to? Because that's really where y'all's value is, as well as new businesses, is you help people. You're a resource.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. It's one of my favorite parts because there's something great about supporting our local businesses that have been here for a long time, and I love the expertise that those folks give to me and to be able to give back to them. But it's so fun to be able to work with somebody who is so new and excited and fresh in their business. And I have to give the businesses more credit than we gave to them. I think we give them a lot, but you have to be smart and passionate and know what you're doing to be successful.
Yeah.
And so Whitney Ronzello with Blue Horse Bakery, love Whitney. She has gone through both of our entrepreneurship classes, and I think she's doing really well.
Her cakes are amazing.
They are amazing.
I mean,
they're just
artist.
Insane. They're beautiful and crazy.
Yeah. And she's a mom. And so much
and a
dedication.
downtown business owner.
Yeah.
She's got a lot going on. And then we had, and I've forgotten their names, and I apologize, folks. There is a pin maker who has gone through our Entrepreneurship Academy, and his pins can be found at Twigs and Tin, which is one of our downtown businesses.
Yeah.
If you've been in Twigs and Tin and seen those amazing, beautiful wood pins, that gentleman came out of the Entrepreneurship Academy. I'm trying to think off the top of my head others that you guys might know. It's a lot of like small businesses though, like bookkeepers. We had a great a great bookkeeper that came through that she was just looking at a way to grow her company and grow her client base, and
that's neat.
And
be business savvy about it.
Yes.
It's more than I know how to do X. It's you gotta know your market, and that's what y'all are so great about helping people along. So that's so fun.
Yeah, it's been fun, and we will start that up again in the fall, and our focus this fall will be for folks who have not yet started their business. If you have started and you just really want the help, please come join us as well, but we're really going to be focused on people who have an idea and want to start their business from scratch, and that'll start in September.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
So you started off tired, and then hopefully you talk about
energized
fun
me.
things, so now you're happy.
Exactly.
Because now you're smiling.
Oh,
Because I'm smiling at you, so you have to smile back
see,
at me.
look at that. See this trickery that Amy uses on me?
Well, you know. And the phone, did the phone ring?
It did. It rang
Okay.
once and somebody answered it.
Oh, good. Okay. See, it's just not incomplete until the phone rings.
Yeah.
So that's
But
awesome.
Jan takes care of you.
Jan says she loves me today.
Yeah.
I said, what about tomorrow? She said, we'll see.
how
I'll
it
take
goes
it.
around here.
I'll take it. It's okay. All right. Well, thanks for being on episode 22.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Bye.
Bye.